Good morning, good evening, everyone. This is Luda Kopkina with GAI Insights. Welcome to Daily AI News, where we rate articles essential, important, and optional. I have Paul, John, and Ankash from our regular crew, and a special guest today, Lucinda Lindy from Ironside. She is a consultancy, AI consultancy, and data consultancy. Lucinda is a regular guest, and she usually has tremendous insights. So, welcome, Lucinda.
Honored to be here.
The articles are at gaiinsights.com/articles. Please follow along and let us know whether you like or don't like our ratings and whether you agree or disagree with them. All right, let's proceed to the first one.
Sure, thanks, Luda. So the first one that we have for today comes from Microsoft, and they have introduced MAI Image 1, which is already in the top 10 on LM Arena.
Yes, John, what did you think about this introduction?
Yeah, this one's certainly optional for me. I think the only it's a product announcement. They're rated at number 9, tied for number 9 actually on one of the leaderboards. This is Microsoft Research's Microsoft AI. I know they've got a lot of research areas. Microsoft AI saying their first text-to-image model. I think there's no new news here, but there is a fundamental notion that all these hyperscalers, I believe, are going to have deep models in the big areas. Text to image being one. I think one that we'll cover some more and have covered some is going to be in biology. I think another one's, it's going to be on DNA and so forth. I think over time, these real world models, I think each of the big hyperscalers will have a real world model competitor. The way Meta has pushed, I think there's probably going to be one later coming in material science, because material science is going to. It's just miraculous what you can do when you have the proper material or catalyst or whatever. Things that So I think we're going to see an acceleration of science, and the need for each of these hyperscalers to vertically integrate into these domains. But this is definitely optional news.
Yeah, it's a crowded space for now, before they specialize. What did you think, Lucinda?
Yep, totally agree on optional. It's really another data point that Microsoft is building its own foundation models alongside its OpenAI ties, reducing single vendor dependence for them. The photos did look nice, looked like good lighting effects, etc. As you mentioned, reasonably high debut on LM Arena, but not really at the very, very top. There are a lot of ties there on that list. And there was no benchmark performance released. LM Arena is a community signal, but not a formal benchmark. Not a lot of detail. Didn't see a way to try it out. And John, as you mentioned, Luda mentioned, the competition is fast and furious in this area. There were a lot of other things that people talked about, like is it will there be a style collapse? As things happen, and what are the integration and scaling performance attributes of it. So optional.
Okay, going optional. Ankash, Paul, any disagreements or anything to add?
Optional.
Okay, all right, optional it is. Let's proceed to the next one, Ankash, please.
Okay, the next one comes from HBR, and it is titled the GenAI Playbook for Organizations.
Yeah, it's, I think, the third one in the set of articles talking about how AI can be applied or not applied in enterprises. Ankash, could you please review it for us and let us know how you rated it?
Sure, Luda. So I think it's an essential read for anyone in the enterprise AI space, Luda. So it sort of aligns with our thinking on GenAI, that instead of considering it as a technology, it should be considered as a capability which needs to be built in the organization itself, and which can then further drive strategy and competitive advantage for the organization. So in this particular article, they introduce task level frameworks for identifying where AI can add value, and they emphasize experimentation and governance, and sort of highlight that thinking about GenAI only as a technology might cost the organization in terms of competitive advantage. But if they can identify spaces where it will truly add value, something on the lines of our wins framework, right? Then they can build that capability and be successful with GenAI. So an essential lead, I would say.
Okay. Essential from Ankash. John, what did you think?
Yeah, I was between important and essential. I think the reason is this, and we've been talking about it for a couple of years now, that AI is an organizational capability. It's not a technology, and that there's a lot of useful things in here about top-down support and the ability to have folks do training and so forth. And making sure that everybody in the organization is capable with it. Their framework, I think, is really wrong-headed. The tacit and explicit. I spent a lot of my academic career looking at tacit and explicit knowledge in the context of expert systems and AI systems. And this is a vast oversimplification. It really doesn't deal with any of the nuances of, there's tacit knowledge in all kinds of things that people think are explicit because it's automatized in your brain. It's deep neural stuff and patterns of recognition. And so it's easy to say tacit and explicit knowledge tasks. It's very difficult to actually figure out what those are and when they matter. So it's kind of a bogus framework. Cost of error, sure. Cost of error, that I think is pretty obvious. You don't put a machine in charge. If you're going to have to be in a court of law and you can't explain the chain of reasoning, I mean, that's just common sense. So I think it's a crappy model, but I think the general message is really important. And, it's one of those things like core competencies, which is a completely vacuous idea that everybody likes. So, so I think it's on balance, the AI leader would be better off having read it.
Okay. So important from John, not essential necessarily. What did you think, Lucinda?
I'm also on the important track. I felt a little bit schizophrenic about this article because on the one hand, there were some interesting frameworks, like if you want to scroll down to the purple graph that says how potential gains are missed. I thought that was novel. I hadn't seen that before. John, thank you for talking about the tacit and an implicit one. Because that one I literally couldn't wrap my head around. So it was really good to hear your expert assessment of that because you've had a lot of experience and thought a lot about it. I mean, I felt it was a kind of a way for this to be able to express to board members. Perhaps it's more accessible to them. I felt as though there were a lot of kind of vague things in there without the kind of not granularity, but the specificity that kind of would ring true or give, sharper insights. And so I just felt like it was important because there were a couple of good new ideas there, but there's also a lot of old things that we've heard, and they were really more generalities as opposed to like, okay, how do I roll up my sleeves and do this?
Yeah. I agree, Lucinda. I was also on the important camp. Paul, what did you think? Its affordability is probably high.
Yeah.
What did you think, Paul?
Yeah, Luda, I was on the affordability with credibility is really high in this. So that's why I had it as essential. I think so many of these articles continue to confuse in my mind. There's three ways you can put AI. You can put it into your product, you can put it into process level, and you can put the individual level here, and they mix it a little bit, which has big implications. One thing I did like about it, Monique, if you can scroll, whoever's scrolling, if you can scroll to the competitive analysis or competitive advantage, they talk about mandating access to all employees, and we're doing we did 12 101 and 201 trainings last week, and it's so important to get this secure employee chatbots out there. And executives need to understand how important it is and support the programs to buy it and do it. And we still see many, many companies less than 5 or 10%. So that message alone, I think, is supports affordability. So anyway, I have it essential for affordability here. I think the challenge for AI leaders is when they say things in the organization, it's not heard as well. When they forward something that comes from an outside credibility, sometimes that's heard better.
Yeah, I hear you, Paul, and I'm actually convinced that we should go essential. So since I have the chalk, we're going essential. All right, let's proceed to the next one. Ankash.
Now,
Sure,
Luda, I think we've been talking about the chalk for 450 shows. I don't think we've actually had a piece of chalk, and I think probably anyone younger than 35 who watches this show has no idea what we're talking about. So I think we're really showing our age, our experience, Luda.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
That's good. The experience is good. Age might be not.
Okay, moving on to the next one. This one comes from Google Cloud, and they are introducing LLM Eval Kit, a practical framework for prompt engineering on Google Cloud.
Yes, Lucinda, you are into evals lately, and so this article is very much in your space. What did you think?
Yeah, I gave this an important, for the reason that it's, well, what is EvalKit? It's a lightweight open source toolkit for doing structured prompt evaluation. And it really moves prompt engineering from intuition to measurement. You can run it locally, which is actually good because then you don't have to worry about all this other, integrating with the cloud, et cetera. And you can integrate it with a Vertex AI stack. It's important because it's good scaffolding and a workflow around evals, and it's also no code. And it also, because it's got a process, it takes the pain and shuffling out of all the current piecemeal eval process, which I'm living right now. I'm just always, got to like do this, do that over there, copy, paste, put that over there to use this tool or this, look at these things in this spreadsheet. In order to get really the application specific assessment. So it brings engineering discipline, et cetera. But on the other hand, it's a very short article. It doesn't give a lot of detail around it. I tried to try it out, but I didn't think there was a way to do it. But I think it's good for the AI leader. It brings engineering discipline to prompt work. It can, I've been using Hamel Hussein's framework for evals, and you can use it as scaffolding for that, which is good. It also encourages collaboration among various team members. And it's really kind of a platform shift it could be a strategic differentiator for Google in the cloud ecosystem.
Yeah. Okay. Important from Lucinda. What did you think about this, John? You must.
Yes. I had it as optional, but Lucinda's in the middle of doing this every day. I think it's I could give it an important, certainly operationally important coordination of how we interrogate these things. The instrumentation of actual development. So I'm fine with important.
Okay, Ankash.
Important, Luda. I think we don't have a lot of frameworks around LLM evals in the market or tools on how to sort of do it in a no-code manner. So this is a good tool from that perspective. So important development, I would say.
Yeah, I was actually between important and essential. It's an open source where the developers talk about keeping the prompts someplace, and they understand that the prompts are critical, and so this allows a place with the open source. It's an easy type of tool, easy to use tool. So I was thinking important to essential, but I'm good with the important. Paul.
Yeah, important. I'm only because it's mostly a product announcement and it's not a case studies on it. Shisha is arguing for essential.
Yeah, no, it is absolutely what I hear from people who are developing and using prompts deeply. This is very critical for them. So that's why I was on the essential side. But I understand it's a product announcement. So let's do important on this one. Again, since I have the chalk. Important it is. Let's proceed to the next one.
Okay, the next one comes from TechCrunch, and it is titled, "You will soon be able to shop Walmart from ChatGPT."
Yeah, an interesting collaboration, Walmart and ChatGPT. They've done it before, but this is very focused. What did you think about this, John?
No question, essential. I mean, it's not there yet. I tried to integrate my Walmart account with my ChatGPT account, but my goodness, you have to remember Walmart. Again, the scale. When you're evaluating these things, you have to remember that these markets are highly skewed. And what I mean by that is that a few players have massive power. Antitrust has been asleep since the AT&T case back in the 70s and 80s. Clinton stopped, collecting concentration ratio data. We are in an oligarchy of monopolies or quasi-monopolies in a lot of these areas. And Walmart's a perfect example, and OpenAI isn't there, but, their competitors are. So now you have a company that's getting 700-800 million people a day in ChatGPT. Completely changes the way your brand is presented. Walmart has massive market power in terms of, you have to remember Walmart's revenues are 2/3 the GDP of Australia. Okay. I mean, this is a country. Okay. And when they introduce a new product, or like McDonald's or whatever, you have to make sure that the entire supply chain can support, what the velocity that Walmart can put through a product. You have that plus ChatGPT, and think of what they're going to learn. I mean, my God, about all these products and services and demand and so forth. And, this is absolutely essential. I mean, if you're a consumer packaged goods company, if you're selling anything through Walmart, if you're, trying to build a brand, I mean, just this is tectonic news. So absolutely essential.
Interesting. Ashish is saying, look, but is it the case that Walmart is giving in? They could have developed it by themselves, and they have a tool, Spark AI, I think it's called, that they can use. But now they're putting ChatGPT in front.
I have an answer to that, which is that the OpenAI is the most powerful competitor who's not going to vertically integrate into the supply chain the way Amazon is. And so if Walmart, this is really bad news for Amazon, right? Because Walmart's ability now to up their online presence, plus they have the physical presence. You see Amazon opening some stores and so forth, on the places where Walmart competes with Amazon. Now, a lot of Amazon's profitability comes from markets that they don't compete with Walmart, like AWS. So I think this puts enormous pressure on Amazon's retail business in a good way for Walmart.
And it provides, as Ashish is commenting, provides an enormous data goldmine for OpenAI.
Oh yeah, you look at some of the deals OpenAI is doing. God love them, man. They're rocking and rolling, no question.
Yeah. What did you think, Lucinda? Essential, big time from John. What did you think?
Yeah. So when I read this article and the Salesforce article, John, I felt the earth move under my feet because it is a tectonic shift, as you say. Really, now this puts ChatGPT as kind of the face of commerce, or the face of some of the big applications, as we'll talk about later. And it's they are, as you say, they are just going for it, hammer and tongs, OpenAI. So the other thing that's interesting is that both for this one and the other one, that you're adding the commerce part of it, that you're adding a link that will then do payments, which is something that people have talked about. And now here it is going to be implemented and rolled out with Walmart, which is really, as you say, it's a huge player in retail. And it's going beyond kind of search to intent planning. This is kind of like AI first shopping. It's like, it's, even though it's just an announcement and we can't really see how it works, it does feel really different about things. In terms of some things, the attributions there, we'll have to see how the analytics and et cetera go. We'll have to see how, if the multi-hops within all these agents, causes problems or not. But this feels very different.
Yeah, super wow, says Paula. Okay, so we are doing super wow essential, Paul.
I think yes, essential. But let's remember a few things. This is a biz dev deal, and half biz dev deals don't work out. We made a big deal, talked about how wonderful at scale McDonald's was at using AI in the drive-through, and then it being debacle, and didn't happen here. To me, the thing was even more exciting. Lucinda, was what you want, is that I think it's essential the AI leaders understand this notion of having a buy me button in the chat. So we continue to see this digital intelligence layer move ahead of traditional software and websites. And this is a great example of search engines, answer engines, now buy engines or task engines. And boy, that's got a profound implication on everything. And it's really interesting as we think about where e-commerce might be a year from now. You might be seeing a lot more buy buttons moving to the AI engines than they are on these websites, and that's a profound change.
Yeah, and it seems like OpenAI will be handling payment, and so this is also interesting new development. Okay, we're going.
But Paul, let me just make a distinction. I don't remember hyping the McDonald's thing, but but this is totally different. You have the CEO of Walmart, building inside the organization. They've already deployed. We've got ChatGPT with hundreds of millions of users. We know that shopping is a critical thing. Yeah, I mean they screwed up the McDonald's implementation, but you don't see that kind of commitment out of McDonald's that you see out of Walmart, and you don't see in the volume and scale of this thing. I think it's apples and oranges. I hear you. It's it still could screw up, and it's just a BD announcement, but this is a horse of another color.
Well, no, John, I think we're agreeing essential, and it's a CEO putting their name on it. And I think the other thing is Rufus and Amazon is making ground. So the competitive battle on the AI e-commerce mix between Amazon and Walmart is non-trivial, needs to be watched and learned from.
Yeah, Ashish is saying this will change the internet. And this is going this way. Yeah, okay. So essential it is. Let's proceed. Oh, Ankash, are you okay with essential, I assume?
Well, yes. Yes.
The last thing before we get there, the last thing we've been seeing really good development in the last 12 months is the anticipatory nature of LLMs. Here's my blog post, proofread it. Hey, would you like me to also rewrite it? So I think when we start thinking about the anticipatory nature of buying, Luda, here's 3 or 4 things you might need this week here as an LLM-based thing is a really rich new vein.
Yeah. So yeah, essential it is. And Brenda is agreeing with the payment structures and the like. So thank you, Brenda. Okay, let's proceed to the next one. Totally essential, changing the world here. That's interesting.
Okay, the next one comes from AWS, and it's a case study about how Kitsa transforms clinical trial site selection with Amazon Quick Automate.
Yeah, so this is a case study, has all 3 pieces from Kitsa, that is a health tech company, and talks about how they redone how clinical trial sites are selected. So currently it's a very slow manual process built on relationships, and it takes months to do it right. And it also has a lot of data that is not visible. So Kitsa reworked this process quite deeply, and now shows quite a good result. 96% faster data acquisition, 91% cost savings, better coverage, 96% coverage versus manual. So it's a great case study, and I was between important and maybe even essential, because it's a demonstration of this actually works at scale and for something as convoluted as clinical trial sites. So what did you think about this one, John?
Yeah, I'm important to essential in this. It's a very nice, case study. This is a huge issue for pharma. It's well documented. So, I just think it's, now the reason I put it important and not essential is, it's Kitsa, they're kind of making their claim. So it's a vendor, talking with a vendor about what they're doing. So that's why I give it important.
Okay. Lucinda, what did you think?
Same, important. Again, they're self-reported numbers, and they're also, the 91% cost savings, et cetera. That, how big is that in terms of the overall process, et cetera, in terms of impact. But nonetheless, I think this is a really interesting capability that AWS has introduced with Quick Suite. And I've been playing around with Quick Suite. I haven't used the automate part yet, but this looks really very interesting to use. So it's good. It's another well-written AWS case study. You have your architecture diagram. You have a lot about, how they did it, et cetera. So I think that's really good. And people can, I think, imagine what a, FDA clinical trial, just in terms of the complexity and the labor intensiveness of all the records, et cetera, and how this can really slice through that.
Yeah, and as I said, it's a demonstration that that very complex area can be taken and done well at scale. So that's why it may be essential. Okay, Ankash, what did you think?
I was important on this one, Luda. A little bit skeptical because of Kitsa and this new Amazon product that they are sort of promoting in this case study. That's the reason I was important. Otherwise, an essential read.
Okay, sounds like we are agreeing on important. Paul?
Important.
Okay, important it is. Let's proceed to the next one, last one.
Okay, the last one comes from Salesforce. So Salesforce has partnered with OpenAI across enterprise, work, and commerce. And just a related announcement, Salesforce Agentforce 360 is now available. They have announced it as part of their Dreamforce conference that is going on.
Yeah, Lucinda, you already mentioned this this announcement. Please go ahead and review it. Let us know what you think.
Yeah. So again, this was definitely important, at the very least, maybe essential. In the same way as the Walmart one, it really just shows the tectonic shift of e-commerce and how you're going to have ChatGPT as really a means by which you can do instant checkout. It's really good in terms of Salesforce, in terms of ecosystem fit for distribution for them. It's also part of the apps SDK. It's a multimodal posture, so they're also multi-model posture. They're also utilizing Anthropic Claude as well as OpenAI. So I just think that this really shows, between this and the Walmart article, this is showing where e-commerce is heading to, and these are the people leading it, and OpenAI is really just going for it.
Yeah, they mention at the end that this is meeting the people where they are. And they talk about putting a couple of applications in Slack, ChatGPT and Codex. And now many companies use Slack as their platform. So this is quite a dramatic shift. So I agree with you, Lucinda. John, what did you think? On mute. Okay. John is having technical difficulties. What did you think, Ankash?
Luda, I think this is an important news. So Salesforce is an important player in the enterprise arena, and they now collaborating with OpenAI to provide a lot of insights here, a lot of products which can be useful for the enterprise. So an important announcement. I think they have made some other announcements as well. So they are now using Anthropic as well within their Agentforce platform. So people will have access to Claude as well inside of that, and OpenAI. So Slack is now available in ChatGPT, and you can access ChatGPT through Slack as well. Salesforce going all the way to integrate GenAI into their systems. So important news.
Yeah, great data and stuff for OpenAI again. Sort of, it's less power than Walmart, but absolutely a platform. Salesforce is a huge platform between Slack and the Salesforce CRM. It's a huge number of users across various industry verticals, and this is massive.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, before the this will be essential if it weren't for the fact that it's just announcement where, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, John, I'm triple optional on this. So this came out in the Salesforce Dev Day. Remember, Salesforce has been crapping it on the internet. Their stock is down, I think, 30-40%. Agentforce was an absolute debacle out there. OpenAI did their Dev Day, and Dev Day, you bring up the truck and just dump a whole bunch of announcements. So they announced that they're going to do a $15 billion announcement, commitment to San Francisco to build out stuff and all this other stuff. So they are exactly where Google was a year or so ago. Shut up and start showing me. and I think we have not seen any show from these guys. So
yeah, but they don't.
In my view.
But they don't have the super deep AI bench that Google had, even when they're not in the product space. And they created the transformer algorithm. They've been using AI. I mean, you and I were at that event over at Google, and it's amazing. I mean, they are underneath the covers at Google. There's unbelievable capability. It's not clear to me that that's true at Salesforce. I think of all the major players, I think that Salesforce has gotten this revolution. They have screwed it up the most. They have.
John, I couldn't agree more. And the challenge in missing the industry has given them an underhand pitch. We know the sweet spot of the sweet spot is coding, and the next one out is customer service.
And sales, customer service is sales, right?
Exactly. We're talking about sales and customer service, and trying to be this SAP is idiotic.
Yeah, and when we're in Davos, their Agentforce thing it's talk about vaporware, and we know from our interviews with Salesforce that people aren't ready to accept Agentforce as their architecture. It's too early in the market. It's nuts.
Right. That was critical what you just said. They introduced, remember, they were the first ones. Agents were not really calibrated. They were not even defined. And they went forward with Agentforce, and I think they not cooked it properly, and that's why it flopped. So, but we can't rate this optional, because this is a major capability. They're working together with ChatGPT, OpenAI, right? So, and leaders need to know that this exists and this is available.
I disagree. I mean, one, if you're not using Salesforce, you don't care at all about it. And two, even if I use Salesforce, because you guys had 50 sales calls to me last year, told me how great Agentforce was, it was a joke here, I'm going to be a late adopter in anything you come out with next. So, I'm Missouri show me till you start showing me some stuff here.
Okay, Lucinda, I'm giving you the last word.
Well, I mean, Paul, you are calling it, right? I mean, on the other hand, I just feel like, they are OpenAI is working with Salesforce. I understand what you're saying. They blew it on Agentforce, but they were an early player. There are probably a lot of lessons for them. I don't know. I'm still going to call it important, but I totally understand what you're saying, Paul, on the credibility and where these guys are coming from.
Okay. All right. We'll go important on this one per Lucinda's last vote. And as Ankash is preparing the scorecard, what announcement do we have, Paul? John?
Yeah, the biggest announcement is we continue to do these free 101 training. We did Copilot again on Tuesdays, every Tuesday at noon Eastern. Tomorrow we have ChatGPT, and it's so, I love attending these things. We learn so much. Lucinda, we had someone yesterday. This is now the third one they've attended. So they're saying, boy, even though it's 101, I pick up something every single time. Last week we did 12 training sessions with companies here, and the same thing I'm seeing over there as well here. So if you really want to be an AI first professional, you need to get dedicated to your learning curve, and that may mean going to 2 or 3 classes and learning and finding your own learning lab. So I think this capability in growing at the company level and at the professional level are 2 really important curves. And boy, I'm learning a lot every time and the last thing I would say, it's one client we had yesterday had 2 of them, and they had 2 SVPs on both the 101 training, which was going to 20, 30 people, because it's that important, the organization here. So this capability thing that John keeps talking about is very real, and it needs to be curated. It's not a one and done type situation.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. We need to close the show today. So we have 2 essentials, 3 importance, and 1 optional. Thank you all for being active participants. Ashish, Vivek, Brenda. Thank you, Lucinda, for joining, and we'll see you all tomorrow.